Well, first of all, we got to make this video so that Jordan can see it. Jordan's going to be watching it. Y'all say hey to Jordan. They don't look very excited, Jordan. I think they miss you in the class. It ain't the same without Jordan around here. All right, well, anyway, let's see. I got to get that adjusted. I got to do it where it makes me look thin. Okay? So yesterday we read The Stolen Party. Was it what you expected? No, I would imagine not. I would imagine not.
That's sad.
It was sad. If you didn't figure out that the ending was sad, you weren't paying much attention. Some of you wrote like, oh, she was happy because she got the $2. No, it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. Because she realized that she was really not friends with this girl. And the girl's mom, Luciana, and Luciana's mom didn't really look at her as an equal. They looked at her as an underling. All right? So let's read this thing. Here we go. The Stolen Party by Liliana Hecker. As soon as she arrived, she went straight to the kitchen to see if the monkey was there. It was. What a relief. She wouldn't have liked to admit that her mother had been right. Monkeys at a birthday, her mother had sneered. Get away with you, believing any nonsense you're told. She was cross, but not because of the monkey, the girl thought. It's just because of the party. I don't like you going, she told her. It's a rich people's party. Rich people go to heaven too, said the girl who studied religion at school. Get away with heaven, said the mother. So the mom says that rich people get away with heaven. What does that mean? They can get away with heaven.
They can bribe their way into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, you got money, you could kind of buy your way into anything or out of anything, right? So the mom's saying they're not going to heaven, because they're good people. They're going to heaven because they give enough money to the church where God goes on and lets them in. Okay? A big party in the sky. The girl didn't approve of the way her mother spoke. She was barely 9 and one of the best in her class. I'm going because I've been invited, she said. And I've been invited because Luciana is my friend. So there. Ah, yes, your friend, her mother grumbled. She paused. Listen, Rosara, she said at last. That one's not your friend. You know what you are to them? The maid's daughter. That's what. Rosara blinked hard. She wasn't going to cry. Then she yelled, Shut up! You know nothing about being friends! Every afternoon, she used to go to Luciana's house, and they would both finish their homework while Rosara's mother did the cleaning. They had their tea in the kitchen, and they told each other secrets. Rosara loved everything in the big house, and she also loved the people who lived there. I'm going because it will be the most lovely party in the whole world. Luciana told me it would. There will be a magician, and he will bring a monkey and everything. The mother swung around to take a good look at her and pompously put her hands on her hips. Monkeys at a birthday, she said. Get away with you, believe in any nonsense you're told. Rosara was deeply offended. She thought it unfair of her mother to accuse other people of being liars simply because they were rich. Rosara, too, wanted to be rich, of course. If one day she managed to live in a beautiful palace, would her mother stop loving her? She felt very sad. She wanted to go to that party more than anything else in the world. I'll die if I don't go, she whispered, almost without moving her lips. Now let's stop there. Would the girl really die if she didn't go to the party?
No.
So what do we have an example of?
Exaggeration.
That is definite exaggeration. Have y'all ever said something like that to your parents? I'm going to die if I don't get this. Anytime my kid said that, I said, well, I ain't getting it for you just because I wanted to see if he died. He didn't. Let's keep going. I didn't really do that. What's that you were saying?
I said drops dead.
I would have felt terrible if that would have happened, actually. Let's keep going. And she wasn't sure whether she had been heard, but on the morning of the party, she discovered that her mother had starched her Christmas dress. And in the afternoon, after washing her hair, her mother rinsed it in apple vinegar so that it would be all nice and shiny. Before going out, Rosaura admired herself in the mirror with her white dress and glossy hair, and she thought she looked terribly pretty. Senora Inez also seemed to notice. As soon as she saw her, she said, "How lovely you look today, Rosaura." Rosaura gave her starched skirt a slight toss with her hands and walked into the party with a firm step. She said hello to Luciana and asked about the monkey. Luciana put on a secretive look and whispered into Rosaura's ear, "He's in the kitchen, but don't tell anyone because it's a surprise." Now, right here, we've got a kind of a clue that Rosaura is the only guest who knows about the monkey. Now, Luciana knows because it's her birthday party. Rosaura knows, but none of the other kids that are at the party know. Remember that. Now, we need to stop quickly and talk about starch. A starched dress. Can somebody tell me what a starched dress is? Yes, sir.
Like, it's stitched up to fit you.
No, but that's a good try. Someone else. It is a good try. It's like hairspray for clothes. You know how you put hairspray in your head and like hold it there still? You know what I'm saying? Well, starch is the same thing for clothes. So you spray starch on your clothes, and then when you iron it, it'll like hold the creases and the straightness. There won't be any wrinkles in it. So it'd be the same for a dress. You do it when you're going to something like really nice. So if you were to say, take like a suit to the cleaners, they would starch it for you. Okay? Let's keep going. Rosaura wanted to make sure. Carefully, she entered the kitchen, and there she saw it, deep in thought, inside its cage. It looked so funny that the girl stood there for a while, watching it, and later, every so often, she would slip out of the party unseen and go and admire it. Rosaura was the only one allowed into the kitchen. Uh-oh. Smell that, James? What's it smell like?
Foreshadowing.
It smells like foreshadowing to me. Rosaura was the only one allowed into the kitchen. Senora Inez had said, "You? Yes, but not the others. They're much too boisterous. They might break something." Rosaura had never broken anything. She even managed the jug of orange juice, carrying it from the kitchen into the dining room. What's that smell like? That smells like more foreshadowing. She held it carefully and did not spill a single drop. And Senora Inez had said, "Are you sure you can manage a jug as big as that?" Of course she could manage. She wasn't a butterfingers like the others, like that blonde girl with the bow in her hair. As soon as she saw Rosaura, the girl with the bow had said, "And you, who are you?" "I'm a friend of Luciana," said Rosaura. "No," said the girl with the bow. "You are not a friend of Luciana because I'm her cousin, and I know all her friends, and I don't know you." "So what?" said Rosaura. "I come here every afternoon with my mother, and we do our homework together." "You and your mother do your homework together?" asked the girl, laughing. "I and Luciana do our homework together," said Rosaura very seriously. The girl with the bow shrugged her shoulders. "That's not being friends," she said. "Do you go to school together?" "No." "So where do you know her from?" said the girl, getting impatient. Rosaura remembered her mother's words perfectly. She took a deep breath. "I'm the daughter of the employee," she said. Her mother had said very clearly, if someone asks you, you say you're the daughter of the employee. That's all. She also told her to say, "and proud of it." But Rosaura thought that she could never in her life would dare say anything of the sort. "What employee?" said the girl with the bow. "Employee in a shop?" "No," said Rosaura angrily. "My mother doesn't sell anything in any shop, so there." "So how come she's an employee?" said the girl with the bow. Just then, Senora Inez arrived saying, "Shh, shh," and asked Rosaura if she wouldn't mind helping serve out the hot dogs, as she knew the house so well. As she knew the house so much better than the others. "See," said Rosaura to the girl with the bow, and when no one was looking, she kicked her in the shin. Apart from the girl with the bow, all the others were delightful. The one she liked best was Luciana, with a golden birthday crown. And then the boys. Rosaura won the sack race, and nobody managed to catch her when they played tag. When they split into two teams to play charades, all the boys wanted her for their side. Rosaura felt she had never been so happy in all her life. But the best was still to come. The best came after Luciana blew out the candles. First, the cake. Senora Inez had asked her to help pass the cake around, and Rosaura had enjoyed the cake immensely because everyone called out to her shouting, "Me! Me!" Rosaura remembered a story in which there was a queen who had the power of life or death over her subjects. She had always loved that, having the power of life or death. To Luciana and the boys, she gave the largest pieces, and to the girl with the bow, she gave a slice so thin one could see through it. After the cake came the magician, tall and bony, with a fine red cape. A true magician. He could untie handkerchiefs by blowing on them and make a chain with links that had no openings. He could guess what cards were pulled out from a pack, and the monkey was his assistant. He called the monkey partner. "Let's see here, partner," he would say. "Turn over a card and don't run away, partner. Time to work now." The final trick was wonderful. One of the children had to hold the monkey in his arms, and the magician said he would make him disappear. "What, the boy?" they all shouted. "No, the monkey," shouted back the magician. Rosaura thought that this was truly the most amusing party in the whole world. The magician asked a small fat boy to come and help, but the small fat boy got frightened almost at once and dropped the monkey on the floor. The magician picked him up carefully, whispering something in his ear, and the monkey nodded, almost as if he understood. "You mustn't be so unmanly, my friend," the magician said to the fat boy. "What's unmanly?" said the fat boy. The magician turned around as if to look for spies. "A sissy," said the magician. "Go sit down." Then he stared at all the faces one by one. Rosaura felt her heart tremble. "You, with the Spanish eyes," said the magician, and everyone saw that he was pointing at her. She wasn't afraid, neither holding the monkey nor when the magician made him vanish. Not even when, at the end, the magician flung his red cape over Rosaura's head and uttered a few magic words, and the monkey reappeared, chattering happily in her arms. The children clapped furiously, and before Rosaura returned to her seat, the magician said, "Thank you very much, my little countess." Let's stop there. The sentence says, the children clapped furiously. What does that mean?
They clapped.
Like
What?
crazy.
It means excitedly, with great excitement, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean angrily, does it? Oh. She was so pleased with the compliment that a while later, when her mother came to fetch her, that was the first thing she told her. "I helped the magician, and he said to me, 'Thank you very much, my little countess.'" It was strange because up to then, Rosaura had thought that she was angry with her mother. All along, Rosaura had imagined that she would say to her, "See that the monkey wasn't a lie?" But instead, she was so thrilled that she told her mother all about the wonderful magician. Her mother tapped her on the head and said, "So now we're a countess." But one could see that she was beaming. And now they both stood in the entrance, because a moment ago, Senora Inez, smiling, had said, "Please wait here a second." Her mother suddenly seemed worried. "What is it?" she asked Rosaura. "What is what?" asked Rosaura. "What is what?" said Rosaura. "It's nothing. She just wants to get the presents for those who are leaving. See?" She pointed at the fat boy and at a girl with pigtails who were also waiting there, next to their mothers. She explained about the presents. She knew because she had been watching those who left before her. When one of the girls was about to leave, Senora Inez would give her a bracelet. When a boy left, Senora Inez gave him a yo-yo. Rosaura preferred the yo-yo because it sparkled, but she didn't mention that to her mother. Her mother might have said, "So why don't you ask her for one, you blockhead?" That's what her mother was like. Rosaura didn't feel like explaining that she'd be horribly ashamed to be the odd one out. Instead, she said, "I was the best behaved at the party." And she said no more because Senora Inez came out into the hall with 2 bags, one pink and one blue. First, she went up to the fat boy, gave him a yo-yo out of the blue bag, and the fat boy left with his mother. Then she went up to the girl, gave her a bracelet out of the pink bag, and the girl with the pigtails left as well. Finally, she came up to Rosaura and her mother. She had a big smile on her face, and Rosaura liked that. Senora Inez looked down at her, then looked up at her mother, and then said something that made Rosaura proud. "What a marvelous daughter you have, Herminia." For an instant, Rosaura thought that she'd give her 2 presents, the bracelet and the yo-yo. Senora Inez bent down as if about to look for something. Rosaura also leaned forward, stretching out her arm, but she never completed the movement. Senora Inez didn't look in the pink bag, nor did she look in the blue bag. Instead, she rummaged in her purse. In her hand appeared 2 bills. You really and truly earned this, she said, handing them over. Thank you for all your help, my pet. Rosaura felt her arms stiffen, stick close to her body, and then she noticed her mother's hand on her shoulder. Instinctively, she pressed herself against her mother's body. That was all, except her eyes. Rosaura's eyes had a cold, clear look that fixed itself on Senora Inez's face. Senora Inez, motionless, stood there with her hand outstretched, as if she didn't dare draw it back, as if the slightest change might shatter an infinitely delicate balance. What I want to know is this. What are Rosaura's emotions right there when the lady hands her 2 bills? And it just says 2 bills. We don't know if it's 2 1s or 2 5s or 2 20s or we don't know. Okay. Sad and embarrassed would work. She is certainly sad and embarrassed. Yes. What were you going to say, Ami?
She was disappointed.
Disappointed. Absolutely. 100%. Why was she disappointed?
Because she thought she was just being a good helper and she was a part of the party. Like a gift.
That's exactly right. And she figured out she wasn't, huh? Very good. Somebody over here had their hand up. Who were you? Was it you? What were you going to say, Caleb?
I was going to say hapless.
Hapless. This guy's breaking out some vocab. Hapless would work. What about mad or angry? Would that work?
Yeah.
I don't think she was mad. I don't think she was mad. That's why she kind of leaned into her mom. I think it kind of broke her heart. What about confused?
Kind of, yeah.
I think kind of. She probably in her head, keep in mind she's 9, right? She probably in her head is like, why did they just do that to me? Why don't they accept me? You know what I'm saying? Did the mom know what was going to happen?
Yeah.
The mom, at least, she had it in the back of her mind. This could happen, which is why she didn't want her to go to the party. She had a feeling they would, do her wrong.
And then that lady really just said that she's her pet.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that. Thank you for all your help, my pet.
What?
Goodness gracious. Yeah, she's puts her at the level of an animal.
That's where you kick her on the shin.
Question. This was not on your quiz, but let's see if y'all said Senora Inez, motionless, stood there with her hand outstretched, as if she didn't dare draw it back, as if the slightest change might shatter an infinitely delicate balance. What I want to know is this. What is this infinitely delicate balance? Maya, I think you can figure that one out. Listen again. Senora Inez, motionless, stood there with her hand outstretched, as if she didn't dare draw it back, as if the slightest change might shatter an infinitely delicate balance. What is this infinitely delicate balance?
I don't know.
Somebody help Maya out. Alyssa? James, you're up next too. Put your feet in front of you. What's this infinitely delicate balance, James?
I don't know.
Alyssa? This is not good. This means they're about to get a writing assignment.
Wait, the happiness, like how she said?
No. Good try, though. At least you're thinking. You.
Like how the balance is like how her family, she's rich, and then the other balance or other side is like them, poor.
So it's a balance between classes.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a balance between classes. And she's saying, she kind of feels like if, like the mom, Luciana's mom, the mother of the birthday girl, feels like if she, let Rosaura, if she accepted her into their group, it wouldn't be rising Rosaura up.
It'd be falling down.
She would be going down to Rosaura's level. It's the way she looked at it. She's a pretty vulgar, crude, rude, lewd, obnoxious woman. Okay?
She's like the girl from
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. She said she's like the girl with the bow. Yeah, that's what she is. So who would be her niece? Okay. Questions, comments, expostulations? None? Cool.